Good afternoon, everyone. I, Anushka Singh,
And I, Arnaz.
are the members of the alumni cell of the Department of Economics, Indraprasth College for Women, University of Delhi. Today, we are in conversation with Ms. Payal Seth, a notable alumna of Economics Department, Indraprasth College for Women. It would be remiss to not mention that she secured first rank in the college and third rank in the university during her time here. She completed her masters in economics from Delhi School of Economics and secured an impressive 7th rank. Along with this, she has a vast experience in research work. She has worked as a research assistant in the Reserve Bank of India. She also worked as a research consultant to the then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh in the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister of India. She is currently a fourth year PhD candidate in the field of applied economics and management. Her work is primarily focused on utilizing rigorous econometrics in applied economics research. She studies and assesses the role of small behavioral infrastructure investments into nudging people and bringing change that could be incorporated in their daily lives. In addition to this, she has also been awarded research grants by Tata Cornell Institute and the George F. Warren Award for Outstanding Research by Dyson School, Cornell University. We are so grateful to her for taking out a part of her precious time and giving us this opportunity to talk about her journey, experiences, and share insights about things a student of economics ought to know. Although we've moved towards online interaction during these uncertain times, we'd still like to ask you, how does it feel to return to your alma mater, even if it is through these means?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for asking me that question. I'm really happy to be here and thank you for having me here. I'm hoping that I could be of some use to you, by answering some of your questions. So that is what I'm looking forward to in this session.
Definitely, ma'am. Ma'am, we'd like to.
It's absolutely fine. Like, I'm not used to people calling me ma'am, so just call me Payal and you'll get me on track. So
Sure, Payal. So, we'd like to begin by asking Payal, everyone has a story about how they were introduced to the field of economics. So, what really prompted you to pursue this discipline thereafter?
yeah. I think that's like a very first good question to ask. But honestly, I have no grand story. I have no grand story. I was in class 9 and I fell in love with the field. And I knew in class 9 that I wanted to do a PhD in this field. And then I went to class 12, then came bachelor's, master's, and my goal was just solidified. So I fell in love with so many of the courses in these fields, and I got lucky to have teachers who actually helped me to fall more and more in love with these courses. So I think it was just a pull. It was very instinctive. I just knew that I wanted to do it since school. So yeah, I'm sorry, there's no grand story. This is a very simple story. That's it.
No, not at all. I mean, sometimes there are like a lot of small things itself that incite you. So it doesn't have to be grand. It can be like a very small thing, like you said, since ninth grade.
Yeah.
So that can be something, right? As a fresher, when like we as individuals enter college, we have a lot of dreams and aspirations in our mind. And so, like when you came to IB College, what did you have in mind, and how were those 3 years of your life, and how have those 3 years contributed to the development of the person that you've become today?
Yeah, that's a really good question actually. I still remember the first day of my college, like I was blown away because the college was so beautiful, the college was so clean, it was so lush, and I still have that fresh mental, picture of going to the college and being like, wow, like this is just amazing. But anyway, so coming back to your question, I think my goal was to study as hard as I could and to gather as much knowledge with as much sincerity as I could. And this is a very, very nerdy answer, and it's a very geeky answer, but this is what that was. And I think I got very lucky to come to a college where the faculty worked so hard, like Rupali Goenka ma'am pushed me out of my comfort zone, and Saha ma'am taught us so many courses, and she was And not just them. I feel like all the other teachers taught us so passionately. Like it's a very rare thing to experience in a college, and I think I got very lucky to have that faculty that was working so hard. I felt that they were always there for me, like they never let me flounder. They were there if I had any doubts. So I think that was like a very good experience that made me who I am today. And also, I found such amazing friends. They were absolutely crazy. They would make sure that I didn't get boring, or they made sure that I bunked the class once in a while, which I did once. It was like the first bunking of my life. So I am so glad that I got the friends that I absolutely loved. And like I said, when I started answering the question, I think it's a very beautiful college and it's a very peaceful college. And these are certain things that we tend to take for granted. Like these are very small things. But I think each of this thing helped me become the person that I am today.
Right. And I agree, like now not being in college, especially since it's our last year, we regret so much. Like in fact, Anushka and I were discussing the other day, like it feels so regretful ki this is our last year and we're not even in college for this year.
I know.
So
कोई बात नहीं. I feel like as long as you guys are safe, that's what should count right now, right?
right, agreed, absolutely. Would you, Payal, like to emphasize upon basically the type of activities economics students should engage during their college life, which actually provides them an edge over the other students in their future path ahead?
Yeah. Let me begin with a very generic answer. I think I'm a very firm believer that there are no shortcuts in life. So I'm going to say that you should work hard and you should be sincere, and that's just going to go like a very long way. Like trust me, it's going to go like a really, really, really long way. But coming to specific tasks, I would say keep it simple. Like do your coursework very well. I think that should suffice, because I think that DU's coursework is actually amazing. It sets a very solid ground for you, no matter where you want to land. You want to work in a firm, you want to be a professor, you want to do good research. I think DU's coursework is actually designed to give you that edge in itself. And if you would keep working towards that, I think that should be it. I feel like it basically covers your basics very well. So I think it's just keep it simple and study hard. Like very geeky advice again, but yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We've experienced that over the course. We're studying something really interesting and we should pay attention to it. So coming to the next question. During this rigorous journey from bachelor's in economics from the historical city of Delhi to earning or pursuing a doctorate in applied economics from prestigious Cornell University, what are the skills, academic and personal, do you feel you have acquired?
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's actually been like a long journey and it's been a very rewarding journey, and I'm very grateful to have that journey. I spent so much time studying and learning concepts, and then I did get a chance to transcend that classroom knowledge. And then I did get a chance to work on the field, to build toilets, to give behavior change. I managed a team of 30 people, and all of this experience was like really nice. So I think it has definitely helped me grow as a researcher, and that has definitely helped me grow as a manager. And like both of those skills are very important skills to have. But for me, this journey was more of a personal journey, because at each stage, not only did I meet people who were much more intelligent than I am, but they were also so much more humble, and I was in awe of them. I was like, wow, this is what I'm this is what I want to be, this is what I aspire to be. So I think the most important thing that I gained on my journey was that I grew as a person, and that I learned the importance of being grounded and of being grateful. And I think that is the most important process of the most important journey process, whatever. Yeah, that's what it's been.
Yes, ma'am, and we also hope that it's like that for us when we continue in terms of the path towards higher education. So, while building a career in a multi-dimensional field like economics, do you feel it is a rewarding path for people who wish to make an impact?
Yeah, yeah, I'm really glad that you asked me that question because when I was looking out for colleges, and the reason I actually joined TCI was because I knew that my work was going to bring a change in people's life. That was the reason I actually chose to do my PhD in that field, and that was the reason I chose to do field work during my PhD. It was very difficult, it was very grueling, but the fact that I could see that people were gaining from my work, that kept me going. It was just the best feeling, and it helped me see what I wanted to do in the future as well. Like, I wanted to help people, but I also wanted to use my own skills while helping people, which is why I think I'm still working with TCI, and which is why I think my professor also wants me to keep working with TCI, because I think this is who I am as a person. Like, I want to help people, but I also don't want to lose a part of myself as a researcher. So, I got very lucky that I could combine both aspects of my personality well into my PhD, and now hopefully well into my job.
Definitely, ma'am. I'm sure it's very rewarding. Uh,
Ma'am, coming towards more topical issues, ma'am, addressing the elephant in the room, how do you see the pandemic playing out for the economy in the long run? Like, what, in your opinion, do you think the strategy route or the policy decisions taken by the Indian government, would they bear any fruit in tackling the global pandemics to some degree? Like, how do you like, what in your opinion is this?
Sure. So also, I'm sure you've heard from so many experts and their expert view, and I'm sure that they're all good and great. So I'm just going to focus on one part of the policy, which I think was taken very well on time, and I think which helped our nation from having a hunger crisis, which I think would have been the worst crisis that we could have faced as a nation. So I think the free rationing of the grains that was given to the people, that is 5 kgs of wheat or rice till this whole COVID-19 is over, I think that started on time. And my team also did a survey, so we know for a fact that people actually did get access to these ration grains in very remote villages as well. So we know that, like getting people actually did get access to these grains, and it wasn't just in the slums, because our survey was also very widespread. So it wasn't just in the slums, it was in the remote rural villages as well. So I think this particular policy cushioned the worst of what could have happened. So hunger issue for me, like the fact that a person doesn't have anything to eat, that for me is the worst kind of crisis that could have come up on top of this crisis. And I think taking timely care of this, like through a nice policy, was actually a very important policy response to managing this crisis.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think addressing that section of the society and that the root cause of every problem, where everything stems, is more important, more than anything. So I absolutely agree. Ma'am, what really fascinated us was your internship with the Reserve Bank of India. So since we know that our central bank has been the pillar of macroeconomic policy making, what was your experience like working with the Reserve Bank of India, and how different was it from your other research endeavors, as it was essentially like working with the government? So how different was it?
Yeah, so I'm going to begin answering this question by telling you that I'm not a macro person. So this was definitely like a very, very different experience. The research questions that they were trying to answer were very different from what I had worked on before. I was trying to learn some asset pricing models and all, which was like a very interesting stuff to learn. But the best part, which I think you will also like, was that I was a part of Raghuram Rajan's team, and I contributed very little. You can say I contributed nothing, but the fact that I think what I learned while being a part of this team was that I sort of saw how certain things had to be in place for the monetary policy to be charted out. So, and I think that was like a once in a lifetime thing, I got very lucky to experience that. And also it was a very lavish experience. Just kidding, but it was like a really, really lavish experience, because RBI spares no expense to take care of its employees. So it was like way too lavish than what I should get used to. So yeah.
Wow, ma'am, that literally sounds so amazing. More than it would have been on in real life, actually. It really sounds amazing.
I'm glad that you enjoyed that experience.
Coming to the next question then, your research studies with Dr. Pingali has intrigued us. Could you tell us briefly about those working papers? And what views do you have about nudges being employed in policies in sanitation in India?
No, definitely. So I just want to point out that I got very lucky to have Dr. Pingali as my mentor. He is like, he's not just great and intelligent and amazing, but he's also like a very, very nice human being, which helps you because PhD anyway is like a very difficult process, and you're going through, like, your life happens when you're going through those 5 years of your life, right? I mean, it's not just your PhD, like other problems in life do crop up. So I think it really helped me to have him as my mentor because he would always put me as a human first and as his student next. So I just want to give a brief thanks to him. Okay, so now I begin with the basic question. Yeah, so we actually started working on a very basic research question, that why do people go out and defecate and not use toilets, and what can we do to make them use it? Okay, so this was like a very basic research question. So I went to the field in the summer of 2016 for 2 months, and we were just talking to people. I was just trying to gather knowledge that why do people go out and not use toilets. So by the time, so I had focus group discussions, and all of those things. So I gained knowledge that the problem is not that there are no toilets. So the problem is not that the quality of the toilets is bad, but it's just that there's a preference to go out and defecate, because they've been doing it for they've been doing it for a very long time. It's more natural for them to do it that way, etc. So we knew that there was a need to change the minds of people, or there was a need to actually nudge them to use toilets. So I went back to college and I started working on a research design with Dr. Pingali, and we came up with a research design that had 3 sets of 5 villages, like 3, 3, and 3, where the first set of the 5 villages would get a nudge and toilets, nudge to use the toilets and toilets as well. The second set would get just the toilets and no nudge, and the third set wouldn't get anything. So at the end of our research, what we found out that the first group that got nudge and toilets had higher toilet usage rates and better child health outcomes, and also welfare outcomes in terms of time use and safety of women, relative to the group that did not get nudge but did get toilets. So those were very powerful results that we found.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, this intrigued me because I read in the economic survey about the government trying to employ behavioral economics in their policy making, and I really wanted to ask you about this. So,
Sure.
I read your interesting blog post on key lessons in exploratory research and fieldwork. It provided a somewhat do's and don'ts while conducting exploratory research. For our listeners, could you please tell us what you learned during your fieldwork? Things that might help us, future research enthusiasts.
Sure, absolutely. And that blog post was so long ago. I remember writing it when I first came back from the field, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to jot down all the things that I learned, because it's very important for the other people to also know when they are doing the field work for the first time. So I'm not going to give you the same answers as to what is written on the blog, but I'm going to tell you more as to what I've learned since I've spent more time on the field. So what I feel is that when you are on the field, or actually when you are on any job, but specifically coming to the field question, I think it's less about what you have learned and more about what you're willing to learn, and more about what values you have. Like, are you patient? Are you compassionate? Are people comfortable talking to you? Do you treat people with respect? So I think that is what fieldwork is all like, and it should bring out the best in you. It shouldn't bring out the worst in you. I think that is what is very important. So just make sure that you are also yourself when you're doing field work. Also, it can get very, very difficult. So I think the one thing that kept me going, and the one thing that I hope will also keep you guys going, is that you will see the first-hand experience of your work and how that's bringing a change in people's lives. And that is a very powerful feeling, and that is a feeling that will make you fall in love with field work. So I hope that if you do go out, you do experience this feeling, and you do see that how your work can actually bring a smile on a person's face, and just this feeling that you have the potential to change, like one small life is just going to give you this motivation to go out and work harder.
Just hearing you talk about this inspires us, I feel.
Ma'am, if we were to talk about like if you were given a chance to go back to the college days, what would be something that you'd like to do differently? Because like as students, we now embark. So what would be your words of caution to us before we do so?
Yeah, I actually thought about that question very hard, and I think I came up with a good answer. I'm not sure if you guys will like it or not, but let's see. Okay, so like I mentioned, before, like focus on the coursework, work hard, be sincere, like that definitely goes. But there's this one thing that I did not know how important that was. I did not know how important reading journals was. Okay, I did not even know that during my masters, because when you are doing your masters, it's basically DSC. You are just like, you're just trying to pass your courses, and passing the courses becomes your end goal, and it's anyway very hard. But if someone would have told me that everything that you're learning one day will be used for research, and for that you have to read the recent works that are coming out in the journals, I think that would have definitely helped me. And okay, I want to say that DU's coursework is great. I think the bachelor's and the master's coursework is really great. But if I would have had the chance, or if somebody would have just nudged me towards reading journals earlier, I think if nothing else, I would have just grown as a person. That's it.
Right, ma'am. I think more than like what you said, ma'am, more than learning and preparing for exams, I think it's very important that we understand how the practicality is used in real life experiments pertaining to economics, ma'am. So I think that is really good, and we will definitely try to work on this on our end.
All the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, it was a pleasure talking to you today. And I speak on behalf of the entire alumni cell. And I speak on behalf of Anushka and I when I say that we really appreciate you taking out time of your busy schedule to speak with us. And
it was my pleasure. It was absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for having me here. And
thank you so much for sharing your experiences, most importantly, because these experiences of yours in research will definitely prove to be very helpful. And thank you so much for enlightening us with such valuable insights, not only related to your coursework, but regarding retrospecting the entire journey that you've had so far. We are extremely proud of your achievements, and we would love to have you back, especially in person, if possible. Thank you so much, Payal.
I would love to come back. Thank you for calling me Payal. Yeah, and I wanted to end the session by saying that thank you for having me. I think I can see myself in your shoes, and asking questions and looking up to people, and searching for the source of where I want to be, and what are the people doing in their lives, and how I want to land up there. So if I was in your position, I don't think I would have done half a good job that you both did. So hats off to you guys too.
Thank you so much, ma'am.